Hello, and welcome to Talking UNK. I'm Mitchell Lierman. Our guest today is political science senior Tanner Butler, a member of UNK's Model United Nations and Student Court. Thank you for joining us, Tanner. It's good to see you.
It's good to be here, Mitch.
You recently returned from D.C. for a Model United Nations conference. For those who aren't familiar with Model UN, can you share how that process works?
So Model United Nations, it's really what it sounds like. We go through and do a simulation. The organization that we are affiliated with and that we typically go to the conferences of, which is the DC one, which just got back, and a New York one later in April, is NMUN, is what it is. It's officially affiliated with the United Nations. It's an NGO that they work with to develop the rules and make as accurate of a simulation of the United Nations as we can get. So we are given topics and we're assigned member states. So we just came back from being the Federative Republic of Brazil. So we spent time representing the Brazil and their positions in the UN to debate and pass resolutions that Brazil would support in the United Nations to try to solve the global issues of today.
What is it like working with your fellow students as part of that delegation?
Oh, it's incredible. I'm a little biased, but I think we have one of the best delegations in the entire country. I know, especially we had freshmen who just joined this year, learning the procedure, and they were doing much better, understanding everything a lot better than seniors from major Big Ten universities that have been doing it for 3 or 4 years. And so it's a great group of people, and I love spending time with them.
You know, you're a senior, and as you prepare for graduation, how are you reflecting on the relationships that you've built here at UNK?
It's just truly incredible. The personal relationships, both with students and faculty, has allowed me to do so much more stuff. Especially getting back to the UN conference, you also get to meet friends from around the country, and the relationships here allow us to do so much more. The professors are incredible. The personal relationships, to be asked to routinely do stuff and help the university is truly an incredible thing.
As a political science major, how did you get involved with UNK's student government?
So that was Adrian Gomez. They needed a justice for the student court. Because for a while we had problems filling that position. And he thought I would be a great person with that, and so I was invited to do it, both because of political science and my involvement in the honors program.
As Chief Justice of the UNK Student Court, how do you interact with the student body?
So I have very little direct interaction with the student body. We are trying to enact some reforms this year, such as I now will go to, as the Chief Justice, attend every open Student Senate meeting and present a report on what we're doing, so it's more open than what we did. In the past, it was very much not known. I doubt anyone would know unless you looked on the student government webpage who the Chief Justice was and what we're doing. And so I'm trying to be more open, but just because part of the nature of how our primary deals with parking tickets, that it's the written appeals that we're getting, and we try to keep it in. We do not know the names of the people when we're voting on them to ensure that they're private. I'm the only one who knows them, but we block out any personal details so that way there's no bias in that.
Now, I understand that you have recently received a parking ticket yourself, and you have appealed that. Could you explain, what can you tell us about that process? One, how can people appeal their tickets? And then two, what is your appeal kind of all about?
So the parking appeals, you can go through either, there's a link, it's like amesparking.unk.com or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact URL. And you'll go through and you'll have your ticket number and you need the plate number of your vehicle, and you'll submit both those, and then there's a written field to do that. The other way you can go through is you can look at MyBlue and go through UNK parking through there, through the tools tab, I believe, right where you buy your parking permit. And you have an appeals section there. You need to appeal within 14 days or the ticket will double. And what I'm about to say is my personal opinions, not of the student court, because to ensure due process, I will not be voting on this. I will not be the Chief Justice. We will elect a temporary person to handle my ticket. Mine is a little more substantial than most tickets that we deal with. The whole idea is, as the Chief Justice who served on student court for a couple of years, I have had an opportunity to see how UNK parking and the student court in particular operate behind the scenes, and there are some issues that I think just have never been dealt with, and so I wanted to. My appeal is designed to help to ensure that there's a little more justice in the appeal process. nothing parking is specifically doing that's targeting students. I have no hostility towards them. They're great people to work with, even though sometimes as students we can complain about the construction taking away all the parking spaces and all those issues that arise from stuff like that.
Sure, parking is a major question every single year here on campus. And it's something that's going to probably remain a big issue here in the next couple of years as construction efforts continue. I just had one more question for you. What kind of a success rate do the appeals from students see when they are appealed? Or maybe a better question is, what percentage of tickets are actually appealed?
So I don't know. I can have an idea of the number of tickets that are appealed just by looking at the numbers that they give out. So I don't know a number full enough that I don't really fully know that. At the end of the year, before inauguration, I will go through and actually calculate the numbers. I have 2 years, my first year on the court, we were about 1/3% of appeals that we granted. Last year, I believe we were right around 1.5%. And this year, I think we are closing in on like 7 or 8%. So in part is due to the different members on the court being more willing to grant for certain arguments. And I personally believe it's a little bit due to how chaotic all the construction in the recent years has caused parking to be, that there's been a little more leniency, and sometimes the university with this has made some more mistakes and those tickets get granted.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think that's all for this episode of Talking UNK. Please subscribe to the Antelope on YouTube for future episodes. Thank you for watching.